All right, what's up everybody? It's Ethan here, coming to you from Gathland State Park out in western Maryland near the town of Boonesboro. And of course, as you saw, I'm on the Appalachian Trail, hiking southbound towards Weverton Cliffs and Harpers Ferry. So I am tentatively planning to hike all the way out to Weverton Cliffs and then back here, which is a long hike. It's about 12 miles round trip, but it is pretty flat most of the way. I think it's like about 600 feet of elevation difference each way. Kind of just mostly flat with some minor ups and downs here and there. I have done this trail before, but never as a day hike. I was here probably last February, I think, and me and my brother did an overnight backpacking trip on this exact same route. This is my first time making a YouTube video in a while, by the way, getting back into it. This is my grand triumphant return to the stage, I guess. So I hope you guys enjoy, and hopefully I can show you a cool hike and some good views. All right, getting about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile, half a mile, something like that, in the trail now, and on the trail. It is brutally cold today, about 28 degrees right now, with pretty high winds, and it's not really going to get much warmer than that. I think the high is like 30, and with the wind chill it's definitely like in the teens. The only good thing about this hike is that it's mostly in the trees. It is on top of a ridge, so the wind still cuts through and hits you every once in a while, but you know, I'm dressed warm, I'm moving, so it doesn't feel bad. But yeah, it's really a cool hike that I've done. Like I said, you know, I've hiked in this area a few times, just never done this whole thing as like an out and back day hike. But yeah, I actually, you know, like I said, I stopped making videos for a while. I've still been doing some hikes, but I've been lazy, haven't been making videos, and I'm really trying to change that, trying to get back into it. So here I am, filming a hike that, you know, otherwise I probably wouldn't normally film, but I've got really big plans coming up, and I actually want to get, you know, your guys' input on stuff, because I'm kind of thinking of shifting the direction of the channel a little bit. And I mean, I'll explain more later, but I'm basically thinking of doing some like different types of travel videos, like travel vlogging and stuff like that, and doing like fun little travel challenges. I've been doing a lot more international travel, as some of you may have noticed, the last couple of years. So I really want to like incorporate that into some of the YouTube videos I'm doing. Like, you know, maybe I have some ideas, like trying to find the cheapest flights I possibly can to get to certain places, you know, whether that be like Europe or South America or whatever. You know, trying to explore different, you know, regions. I actually have tentative plans to travel through like eastern Turkey and some other places out there, you know, on a very cheap budget, you know, that type of thing. So I'd definitely love to hear you guys' input if you have suggestions, or, you know, things that you would like to see, or if you think I should just stick to hiking videos, you know, let me know. All right, guys. Well, I'm continuing in on the trail here. about 2.5 miles at this point, so almost halfway to Weverton Cliffs. I actually kind of changed my mind though about what I want to do on this hike today. Originally, like I was saying, I wanted to just go to Weverton Cliffs and then hike back out to Gathland State Park, but I actually changed my mind. I think I'm going to hike down to Harpers Ferry, you know, go all the way, you know, across the Potomac River over into West Virginia, and go into town there. I'll show you guys a really cool overlook in Harpers Ferry called Jefferson Rock. Really cool little spot. And the reason they call it that is because Thomas Jefferson actually stood in that spot. But yeah, just decided I want to have a little more of an adventure here. So I'm not going to make it a round trip hike, because that would be like a 20-mile round trip hike, and there's no way I'm doing that today. But it is about 10.5 miles, something like that, one way, maybe 11. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'm just gonna get a ride back to my car at Gathland State Park, and we'll call it good. Yeah, I just really wanted to do a little more than just this hike, so it'll be fun. It's more of an adventure this way. A good old winter Appalachian Trail adventure. And plus I'll get to show you guys Harpers Ferry, which is definitely, in my opinion, top 5 most beautiful small towns in America. And it's pretty awesome to live 10 minutes down the road from there. All right, well, I just walked off the trail a little bit to this little, looks like a little campsite somebody's got set up here. There's little blue blazes here, so this is like an official side trail off of the main Appalachian Trail. Excuse me, just making fat guy noises as I pick up my hiking poles. But yeah, pretty cool. And very quiet day on the trail so far. I've seen like 3 other people the whole time. Usually it's a lot more crowded than that, but you know, that makes sense because it's very cold today, and the clouds are rolling in. So it's not even, you know, it's like 10:30 right now, and the clouds are already starting to roll in. So definitely looks like today could end up being, you know, we could end up getting some snow. But yeah, I'm actually getting close to a place called the Edward Garvey shelter, which is, you know, one of the many famous Appalachian Trail shelters. There's also a campground though, so you can either sleep in the shelter or tent camp or whatever you want. It is open year round. And I do remember specifically about this shelter, it's a really great spot, but God, the water source is a pain in the ass to get to. So maybe have your water stocked up, especially if you're coming from the south. If you're going northbound, get your water in Harpers Ferry, because getting the water on that shelter, you gotta basically hike all the way down the side of the mountain, like, you know, about half a mile straight down and then half a mile straight up. So wouldn't recommend it. All right, guys, so I've made it to the shelter here, the Edward Garvey shelter. And like I said, there's also some other, you know, there's like campsites, you know, tent sites and stuff like that as well. What's up? Somebody started hiking behind me. But yeah, so I'll show you guys that real quick, and then I'll keep going down to Weverton Cliffs. There's a bunch of people here, but here's the shelter. I'll get up a little closer and show you that. I changed my mind. I'm not going right up to the shelter. It is so freaking crowded. They're all clearly in the same group. So that is interesting. there were not that many cars at Gathland State Park, so I'm guessing they came from the other direction. There's a trailhead for Weverton Cliffs. That's probably a little closer to here, but man, that's crazy. I've never seen that many people here, especially in the winter. Like, I've hardly seen any other people today, but as soon as I come to the shelter, it's just like mobbed with this like large group of people. I mean, there must be at least 15 people in that group. But anyway, you can see they got you know, some stuff to hang your food, which honestly a bear could easily reach that, so I don't really know what the point of that is. There's a shelter back there, and then the outhouse, the privy over there, and really nice campground. Actually, it goes way back there. There's plenty of sites. I've stayed here a couple of times. I love camping out here in the winter because it's like the perfect way to, you know, just do a kind of a shorter, easier hike, but still get some still be able to do a nice kind of wildernessy feeling backpack, like overnight backpacking trip on the AT. So yeah, really cool. Definitely, I feel like I'm probably gonna start seeing more people now because it is, you know, we are getting closer to Weverton Cliffs, and Harpers Ferry, which is really popular area for day hikers and stuff, and it is a Saturday, so, and also it's getting later in the day, so it's warming up a little bit. But I'm gonna keep heading that direction. I'm in the inside of the shelter now. There's a back way to get up here. It's pretty nice. It's actually, I mean, it's a really nice shelter. There's a lot of AT shelters that do not look that nice. And I actually ended up talking to them for a minute. They're super cool. They're really nice people. So, but 3 more people showed up. They're, like I said, they're all in the same group, but they're all like having like a lunch here or something. I don't think they said they're not staying here the night. But yeah, crazy. You always meet a lot of interesting people and different people anytime you hike on the Appalachian Trail. It's pretty cool. It's definitely more of like a social experience than a lot of other hiking trails that, you know, you could hike. All right, well, I'm getting out of that super crowded shelter area. They were, like I said, they were really nice people. So I sat down and talked to them for just a couple of minutes, but yeah, they all hiked up here, or I guess they were in Harpers Ferry. They drove over to the Weverton Cliffs trailhead and hiked up here, and they're gonna have a lunch up there at the shelter and then hike back down. That's their plan. So, and that's, you know, that's what it's for. That's what the Appalachian Trail is for, is to come up here and enjoy nature and enjoy how beautiful it is up here. So, and like I said earlier, you know, it's always like a more social experience, this trail. Like, I've never hiked the Appalachian Trail, I mean, unless it was like a very short section. Every time that I've hiked the Appalachian Trail, I almost always end up meeting people and having, like, you know, a conversation with people and, you know, stuff like that, especially if you're camped for the night. I mean, no matter what time of the year it is, you're almost always gonna see at least a couple of other people, especially if you stay near one of those shelters, you know. So it's really cool. It's always a really cool experience. I mean, if you want like pure wilderness and backcountry and to be totally by yourself, the Appalachian Trail is probably not the best place to go. There's plenty of places in West Virginia that I've hiked that are like that, but you know, this is cool in its own right for sure. All right, well, right here in this spot, although it doesn't seem like it, is actually kind of a notable spot here, because this is the highest point on the ridge, on this ridge line between Gathland State Park and Weverton Cliffs, and it is a whopping 1423 is the exact elevation up here. So about 1,400 feet. Not very high up, but like I said, it's notable in that regard. I actually quite enjoy the fact that it's not very high up in elevation, though, because that means that it doesn't get hammered with snow in the winter time, and it thus is, you know, very easily hikeable this time of year, like what it is right now. Now, if I wanted to do this hike in the middle of July, it would be quite miserable because it'd be like high 80s, low 90s. But you know, right now in December, you know, it is cold, but it's bearable, I would say. And definitely, like I said, a lot less prone to being, you know, to just getting piled on with like feet of snow and having to trudge through like, you know, 3, 4, 5 feet of snow like you would in some parts of, you know, Virginia and West Virginia and even far western Maryland that get, you know, easily 200 plus inches of snow a year. Areas that are, you know, up in high elevations like 3, 4, 5,000 feet out there, those are really nice to hike in the summertime when, you know, it's going to be miserably hot around here, and then maybe only in the, you know, 60s, 70s over there. But yeah, in the winter time, it's really nice to have access to lower elevation, you know, mountains like the ones here in Maryland. All right, you can see the Potomac River through the trees right there. Obviously the border between Maryland and Virginia, also the border between Maryland and West Virginia. And here is the intersection here. You can see the Appalachian Trail continues that way, and it goes straight down from here down to this intersection with the C&O Canal, the trail that follows that, as well as the river, and then over to Harpers Ferry, which is about 4 miles from here. But obviously first I'm going to take this little detour to the best view of the day, which is the Weverton Cliffs overlook. Get a great view of the Potomac River and some of the surrounding mountains, and you kind of get a look at Harpers Ferry. Not like a super good look, but you do get a little bit of a view down to Harpers Ferry as well. If you're looking for a better overlook of Harpers Ferry, though, I highly recommend the Maryland Heights Trail. But yeah, I will show you when I get there. All right, well, incredibly, there's freaking nobody else here. Don't know how I got that lucky. It's like almost noon on a Saturday. So, I mean, I know it's cold, but you think there'd be at least a couple other people up here. I mean, I've hiked this trail on like a freaking Monday evening, and there were still a couple of people up here, so pretty freaking cool. I am starting to see a couple of snowflakes fall, so it's starting earlier than I expected. You can see it's definitely gotten overcast a little bit. But so that's looking over towards Harpers Ferry, that gap in the mountains there. That's Harpers Ferry right there, and that's like a tri-state point right there with Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia. Like that over there is Virginia. Obviously, I'm in Maryland right now, and then all that over there is West Virginia. So yeah, really cool. You can see the 3 states from here and get excellent views of the Potomac River. You can kind of see, let me see if I can get up on this rock without killing myself. But yeah, you can kind of see all the way out. I mean, like Frederick's kind of up in that direction. You can't see that from here, but you can kind of see through the trees and down the line a little bit. Those are the Catoctin Mountains, which is another like sub-range of the Blue Ridge Mountains here in Maryland. And I will say that although some snow flurries have started falling, the wind has died down substantially, which is nice since I'm kind of exposed to it at the moment. But yeah, there you go. This is Weverton Cliffs. It's not a quiet overlook. You do definitely have a lot of highway noise from Highway 340 down there, a road that I drive quite often. But it's still really beautiful. And like I was saying earlier, if you want to go to the Maryland Heights overlook, that's actually over on like that mountain ridge right there. So, and then there's also another one called Loudon Heights, which is another great overlook of Harpers Ferry, and it's up on that mountain over there. But wow, crazy. Look at the snow now. It's really, it's starting to, like, you know, be some good snow flurries right now. I was not expecting that this early. That's crazy. And just as I was saying that the wind had died down, it's picking up a little bit again, but that's okay. This is a pretty cool overlook here, I have to say. Awesome views up here, guys. Definitely a very worthy day trip. And if you're wondering, no, you don't have to hike 6 miles to get here from Gathland State Park. I'll show you in a bit, but I'm actually going to keep hiking down towards Harpers Ferry in a minute. And down there, about 1.5 miles from here, there's the Weverton Cliffs trailhead. It's about 600 feet of elevation gain in 1.5 miles, so it is a steep hike, but it's, you know, pretty short, 3 miles round trip. So that's all you have to do. You don't have to do a 12-mile round trip hike to see this overlook. But yeah, this is just insane. Look at that. Look at those views. Just an incredible place. I love this overlook. Like I said, I'm about a 10-15 minute drive from this trailhead. I come up here all the time. It's amazing. Turkey sandwich with a view. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? Awesome. Freaking love it up here. All right, back at this little trail intersection. Normally I'd keep going, or my original plan was to keep going back that way, but not anymore. It is time to start heading back down here. And first I'm going to get to the Weverton Cliffs trailhead parking lot. And then I'm going to hike down to where this trail intersects with the C&O Canal Trail, and I'll hike that all the way over to Harpers Ferry. Harpers Ferry is about 4 miles from here, so still a good ways to go. And this next mile is going to be all steep downhill. All right, well, after a quick 600-foot descent, I'm at the Weverton Cliffs trailhead in the small unincorporated community of Weverton, Maryland. And you can see the parking lot right down the street there, which is also acts as a park and ride for buses, people taking the bus towards Frederick and down to DC. You can park your car there in the morning. But yeah, beautiful hike. The hike is definitely going to change vibes from here on out, because I'll be following the river and of course going through Harpers Ferry, so there will probably be a lot more people, and also you know, it'll be a lot more like road crossings and little towns and, you know, people's houses I'm walking by and stuff like that, more so than just being in the woods. But from here I should have a little under 3 miles to get to Harpers Ferry, and I can't wait to show you guys that. Like I said earlier, it's an incredible town. The bridge crossing over the Potomac River, like walking over the train bridge, it's awesome. So you guys will get to see all that pretty soon here. All right, guys, well, I made it to the intersection with, or close to the intersection with the C&O Canal Trail. It's like right over there. About to cross these train tracks here. 340 is right over here, right behind me here. That's 340 right there, the highway that I showed you guys earlier from Weverton Cliffs. So, like I said, definitely different vibe down here in this section of the trail, but really cool stuff. I mean, I actually love this part of Maryland. There's so many cool little towns and, you know, really cool, like beautiful looking farmland with you know, with like nice little mountain forested backdrops and stuff like that. Really beautiful area around here. Matter of fact, I was gonna say, if you guys are looking for an alternative to Harpers Ferry, like if you think, oh, Harpers Ferry is beautiful but it's just so crowded, I'd highly recommend driving about 10 minutes down the road to Brunswick, Maryland. It's just a little ways east on 340, and it's just another beautiful little town on the Potomac River with lots of cool historical architecture and all sorts of stuff. It just doesn't have, you know, the same notoriety because, you know, there's a little less, you know, like Civil War era history and stuff like that, but it's beautiful and has a lot of cool, like, small town vibe stuff going on there. So like I said, if you find Harpers Ferry to be too crowded, definitely check that out. But you can see here, this is the start of the, well, it's not the start, but the start is in DC, but this is the where it intersects with the C&O Canal Trail. So for now, the C&O Canal Trail and the Appalachian Trail, both very famous East Coast trails in their own right, are running consecutively with each other, or concurrently, whatever the word is, all the way until Harpers Ferry. All right, well, walking down the trail, just had to come out here to this little spot on the Potomac River, which is incredible. Look at that. Just a beautiful little peaceful spot right here on the river. One thing I've always wanted to do is like kayak down this river, kayak or canoe trip or something down the Potomac through like Harpers Ferry, past like Brunswick, all these different spots around here, because it's just so scenic out here. The trail is right up there. I just kind of did a little side trail to get over here, saw that there was a view, and obviously there's no one else out here right now. But yeah, this is the famous Potomac River, the very same one that goes right through Washington, D.C. and eventually makes its way out to the Chesapeake Bay. If you ever get a chance, you can go to Fairfax State Park in West Virginia, and kind of like northern central West Virginia, and see the headwaters of the Potomac up there. It's like a little tiny little trickle, and as you can see, it's quite a bit more than that here. Out in the distance there, you can see the 340 bridge going over the Potomac right there. And while that bridge does give you really beautiful views of Harpers Ferry, it is the constant source of annoyance for anybody who lives in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. Ask anyone who lives around here, they will tell you that bridge sucks. I mean, people, you know, it is a narrow bridge, but man, I mean, people like just slow down. The speed limit going over that bridge is 45, and people drive over that bridge doing 25, I swear. And so there's always like a bottleneck there, and there's traffic all the time there for no reason. I mean, no reason, you know, there doesn't need to be traffic. There's not like super heavy, you know, traffic. It'll just be because, you know, some a-hole is deciding they're going to drive 25 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone for one of two reasons. Either one, because it's a narrow bridge in there and it freaks them out, or two, because they're slowing way down to admire the views. But like I said, ask any local, they'll tell you that bridge is annoying as hell. Almost thought that guy was a freaking statue. He's just standing there so still. But nope, he is, he's real, pretty sure. Anyone want to tell me what kind of bird that is? I'm not good at identifying birds unless it's like an eagle or a falcon or something. But yeah, very cool. Oh, there he goes. A heron maybe? I don't know, you guys can tell me. It's definitely picked back up. I'm going by some big rapids right now in the Potomac River, pretty cool. Harpers Ferry is actually a really well-known spot for whitewater rafting, because you got both the Shenandoah and Potomac rivers that meet up right there. So it's pretty cool area. It's definitely a pretty cool area if you're looking for, you know, whitewater rafting, kayaking, stuff like that. A lot of stuff like that around here. All right, well, here we are about 4 hours into it. There is Harpers Ferry just straight ahead, and crazy, got here in 4 hours. That's pretty good timing, I'd say. There's the Potomac River. Been following that for almost 3 miles now, and I'm gonna come up here a little ways and then cross over into, I can't believe it, honestly. There's been like hardly any people on the C&O Canal Trail. It's been, you know, maybe, I think I've seen like 4 people the whole time. I was expecting there to be way more people. I mean, like I said, I know it's a cold day, it's December, but it is a Saturday, and you know, most places in West Virginia are hidden gems. Harpers Ferry is not one of those places. Harpers Ferry can get very crowded, and everybody knows about it. It's a very popular day trip from like the DC area. So I'm honestly shocked that I haven't seen hardly any people between the Weverton Cliffs trailhead and here. But I'll take it. It's awesome. It's been a very quiet, peaceful walk along the river, and I'm definitely glad I was able to get a ride and decided to come down here instead of just turning around and going back to the state park. But anyway, there is the train bridge right there. You cross that bridge to get over to cross the Potomac into Harpers Ferry, and of course I'll show you guys that here in a minute. All right, yeah, if you want to keep going actually to Maryland Heights, the trail is up that way, and then it kind of cuts off to the right. If you can keep going up the C&O Canal Trail all the way to this town called Shepherdstown, West Virginia, the next crossing point for the Potomac after Harpers Ferry, which is a really cool, another really cool little historic town in West Virginia, right on the border with Maryland. But obviously I'm not going to be going all the way up there today. I'd say that's more of like a bike trip than a walking trip, but that's just me. All right, well, here's the train bridge right here. You can see where it cuts through the mountain. Really cool. Maryland Heights is actually up there, so that's where the overlook is. But yeah, if you plan it out right, you can be walking across this bridge when a train goes across. The freight trains are diverted onto that bridge over there, but the Amtrak trains go over this bridge. And yes, you can actually catch an Amtrak train right here in Harpers Ferry that will go all the way to Chicago and or Miami. So pretty cool. It used to only go to DC, but they recently changed it so that the train actually, it stops in DC, but it continues going all the way down to Miami, which is pretty cool. But really cool spot here. I'll turn the views of the river back towards where I was hiking from. It's an awesome spot. All right, we made it officially into the town. Like I said, it's like being in a Hallmark movie. It's just such a beautiful, cool town with so much cool history and cool architecture, all that stuff. Really famous for all the Civil War stuff. John Brown's fort is over here, and you can see they still got the old, like, some of these streets are still like kind of the old like cobblestone style. A lot of the lights here, the street lights, some of them use light bulbs, but some of them still use like the actual like real flames. It's really cool. And this is kind of like here, and then to the left there's kind of like the main street with a lot of really cool Like I said, the whole town's basically like a giant museum, history museum. But if you're looking to keep going on the Appalachian Trail, it actually goes straight up that way, which I am going to keep going up there because I'm going to show you one more thing, which is Jefferson Rock, a really cool overlook with lots of history. There's the John Brown Museum right there. Beautiful church up on top of the hill there. I mean, this really takes you back. It really feels like you're back in like the 1700s. That's the main street right there, which I'll explore more a little bit later. Like I said, for now, I'm just gonna keep hiking up the Appalachian Trail just for a little bit more. But then I will turn around and come back down here. Here's the old St. John's Episcopal Church, obviously ruins now. I think there was a fire, and it was originally built in 1852. So, pretty interesting. And to get from the lower town up to Jefferson Rock, it's very short. It's only like a quarter mile, but it is quite steep. All right, here is the famous Jefferson Rock, where Thomas Jefferson stood and said that this view was worth the voyage across the Atlantic for, specifically on that rock, which you're now not allowed to climb on because it is quite unstable. But here are the views from up here. Obviously the town and the bridge and all that stuff did not exist back when he stood up here, but it is beautiful nonetheless. So that is it for my hiking today. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. You know, that was really cool. I'm definitely going to head back into town real quick and check out some stuff down in the lower town, and I'll show you guys a little bit of that. But I'm definitely all hiked out. Like I said, I'm gonna go down, maybe try to find a place to grab some coffee and a pastry or something like that while I'm waiting for my ride to come pick me up. But I've hiked already a little over 11 miles, and that is more than enough for me for one day. But yeah, what an amazing view. I hike up here quite often because, like I said, I only live about a 10-minute drive from here, so I love hiking up here to Jefferson Rock. It's a really cool spot. All right, well, as I pass by the spring houses and root cellars, I am gonna go ahead and wrap up this video, guys. My phone is about to on my phone, and it's literally at like 10% battery right now, so it's about to die. I'm gonna go ahead and come down here, just hike up the road a little ways to a coffee shop, grab myself a coffee, maybe a donut or something like that, and I'll sit there and chill until my ride gets here. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this pretty epic adventure today. Definitely turned out to be a lot more than what I originally thought it was going to be, and it was a lot of fun. So like I said, give me your thoughts on, the direction of my YouTube channel. I'd love to hear feedback from you guys about, what you guys think that I should do, if I should keep focusing on hiking videos or get more into, other types of travel adventures and, you know, budget travel type of stuff, you know, like fun budget travel type of stuff though. Like, you know, I go to some random city in, you know, Europe or Asia and try to live with like hardly any money or something like that for a few days, stuff like that. So just let me know if that's the type of stuff you guys would be interested in. And for now, here in Harpers Ferry, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. I'm gonna wrap up the video here. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another awesome adventure.